Cosmere can be a confusing place.
From allomancy to surge binding, there's a lot to look out for.
We're your hosts and escorts to the realms. I'm Griff.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
Welcome back to another fabulous episode of the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
Indeed.
This is the second intro after your first intro. Hope you enjoyed that. What are we talking about today, Griff?
We are talking about the Hoid Box, which was shipped out recently.
That's right. The first loot box of the Year of Sanderson.
Indeed. It was not supposed to be the Hoid Box.
No.
I don't remember exactly which one was supposed to be first.
Supposed to be the book. Supposed to be the Secret Project 1 book.
Right.
And then, right. So Hoid has moved up twice.
Yes.
The first box was going to be Cytoverse.
Right.
Yes, which I haven't read any of the Cytoverse books. So
Is that the one?
Skyward and...
Okay, I have read the first one and I have read about half of the second one.
Okay.
So they're enjoyable enough. I think they're decent. I don't think they're my particular brand of sci-fi,
Sure.
so I probably do not have as much appreciation for them as one who enjoys that might. But
Sure.
I enjoyed them well enough regardless.
They're still for a younger audience?
They're a young adult series, yes, and they don't... I wouldn't say they go for hard sci-fi. They definitely don't go for hard sci-fi. But... I don't know. I don't know how to quantify my particular brand of sci-fi and the thing that attracts me to it, the rare thing that attracts me to it. But I can definitely say that Skyward does not fit the bill.
Okay. Well then. So the first box was going to be Cytoverse. So it was going to be Secret Project 1, the book, plus a fancy bookmark, plus the pin.
Yes.
Plus the first Cosmere character pin. And then Cytoverse, and then Hoid.
Right.
But then they decided that they wanted to start with a Cosmere box because the majority of it is Cosmere. The majority of the fans are Cosmere.
Yes.
Or at least... Anyways. So they moved Hoid up. And then unforeseen extra delays in the book led to them being like, we still want to give them something for January. So they shipped the Hoid box.
Yes.
And I will say it was prompt. In general, my box was a little dinged up, but that's not anybody's fault. That's just the postal service.
And you got yours a couple of days before I got mine.
I did. I believe probably either because I backed sooner or because I filled out the survey sooner.
Right.
Or it was just blind luck.
Yeah, or it was just,
they have to ship 100 and something thousand of them, I think.
Right. So it's not surprising that it's going to take place over a couple of days
rather than... The book is 185. And then the boxes were somewhere less than that because not everybody's fully back. Yeah.
But still, it's still a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that it would take a couple of days rather than just getting it all done in one day.
That's right. And talking about surprising, the contents of the box. But before that, Dark One Forgotten is out on Audible.
Yes.
And we'll potentially pick that up. I've seen people say that they're excited more about Dan Wells in the Cosmere because of this.
Right. This is his first.
They have some sort of written statement or a written statement in the State of the Sanderson.
Okay.
That I don't think we covered by Dan Wells. Dan Wells, they had some of the bigger players in Dragonsteel take a turn on the State of the Sanderson. And Dan Wells said that his first Cosmere novel that they're co-writing is the brainstorming has begun, and they've identified not only a niche in the Cosmere but also of horror fantasy that they believe hasn't been explored very well.
Interesting.
Indeed.
I wonder if they're going to be doing that with Ashen.
I don't know what that is.
Ashen.
Oh, the planet.
Yeah, the planet Ashen. Yes.
The spelling in my head was like Ash.
No.
Ash.
Y with a Y.
With a Y. And two N's?
I don't... it's not appearing that way in my head, but I could very well be wrong.
Okay.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that Ashen was all about like sickness and things like that, like
yeah,
Sanderson has revealed this already. I could definitely see that lending itself to a horror.
Sure.
But I could also be completely wrong. It could just be...
It could be Threnody. It could be...
Threnody would be an interesting one.
Threnody could be like a real pulpy horror, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Slasher.
Well, I mean, if you look at The Haunted Man and his aesthetic, not necessarily his character, we don't get much of that, but the aesthetic that he embodies, which is kind of that pulp hero style in the 20s, I could definitely see that lending itself, especially because Threnody is, I mean, the short story we got was definitely horror slanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see that lending itself too.
Yeah. I did read... No, that's another... That can be a discussion for our other podcast coming soon to a podcast near you.
Yes.
Various books for obvious reasons. What?
I have an idea for that, but this isn't necessarily the podcast.
It's not, but listen to our new podcast to hear Griff's idea come to life. So the Hoid Box.
The Hoid Box.
The Hoid Box. So in the email that the backers get, it says Hoid item 1, Hoid item 2, Hoid item, in my case, extra large, which is obviously a shirt. And so you can see this giant list of all of the boxes.
Right.
So there's 2 shirts. This was the first shirt. And then I think the Stormlight box, I may be mistaken, one of the other shirts has a box.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, one of the other boxes has a shirt. Anyways, so beyond the shirt, did not know what to expect.
Right, yeah, I had no idea.
Even after opening the box, except for the pin, so the pin and the shirt, we knew that we were getting...
Right, we knew we were getting both of those.
The collectible Cosmere character pin.
Yes.
Which, if there's a word that starts with C for pin, I think we should use it. But was not expecting it. Still can't believe some of them.
Yeah, some of them were interesting.
Yeah.
I believe both of us were surprised by the mouse pad.
Yes. So there's a mouse pad. And I think for those of you who have read The Lost Metal, it should definitely be a rat pad, given the fact that he trades his harmonica to Wayne for a rat.
True.
So the rat pad. The rat pad has a good quality, and it is a full picture of Hoid from the Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
That picture that Howard Lyon did. And I know that because it says art by Howard Lyon on it. I don't remember seeing the planets in the Kickstarter.
I don't believe they were there, and I don't know if it was intentionally cut or if they weren't finished at that point.
Right. And I imagine it was intentionally cut.
Probably.
But it is the same picture.
Now, is that Roshar with its moons, or is that...
I think it is Hoid giving a light weaving of various planets from the Cosmere without their moons.
Okay.
Because Roshar has 3 moons.
That's true.
And if we went directly with this, there are 5 moons, and one of them has its own rings, and...
So it is probably multiple planets in the Cosmere.
And it's probably... If it's like that at all, I don't remember if there was a story he ever told that was...
I don't think so. Unless you count the one that just came out.
No, I don't. So...
Fair.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that was a story that he told.
Sure.
To us.
Yes.
The audience. But, it was from Hoid's point of view, so...
Yeah. I think this is just a good representation of the fact that he's telling stories.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know... I don't necessarily want to use this at work because I already have a mouse pad at work. That's
fair.
There's a Korean... I don't know if he's a cartoon character or something, but it's a shark.
Okay.
It's a great white shark.
Gotcha.
And his name, I think, is J-Boss.
Okay.
And I have a mouse pad with him, and it's very cartoony.
All right.
And it says, "I am not dangerous."
Oh, okay.
Because yes. So it's very cute, and I don't know necessarily if I want to replace that with this. This is... I could frame this, and nobody would question it.
No, nobody would question it, to be fair.
Yeah. I may use it if I ever actually set up a desk. Or get a plastic cover for it so I don't wear it down. That's an idea.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent idea.
All right.
So the character pin. Do we want to cover that next?
The character pin, sure.
So we have the character pin is very obviously Hoid.
Yeah.
And I noticed right before starting this stream that there are small iridescent. He is surrounded by. I don't know if that's supposed to be a cloud or a ribbon. I think a cloud.
I think it may be a cloud of smoke. From when he was telling Khaled in the story of the Wonder Sail.
Yes, exactly.
So, because he's playing the flute,
right?
We don't see that very much actually in the.
And then there, one thing I noticed right before basically starting the stream is that there are small iridescent flecks in the cloud of smoke.
Yes,
which is a very nice little detail.
It is.
I think works very, very well, and is subtle enough to be nice if you notice it, but not overbearing.
Yeah, and he's dressed in black.
Yes.
I'm sure you can find a picture of this somewhere online. I'm sure 20 people have done an unboxing video on YouTube.
Right.
Yes. I know Daniel Green, in his review of Tress, did not read his emails and see that there was a change in the order. So it was
okay.
His ignorance was a little hilarious.
Fair.
Yeah. So character pin, and it's got Cosmere character pins, and this leads me to believe that this could be like they'll have the set of 12
right
in the 2024 Dragonsteel convention.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they'll come out with various series. This is merch before screen adaptations, so
yeah,
right,
yeah.
All right. There is a card that tells you specifically what the box contains.
Yes.
And for one of these, where does it say don't not graffiti?
Don't vandalize.
Don't vandalize. Where does it say that?
On the stickers.
Right. So there are a set of stickers. And on one sheet of stickers, it says Hoid was here.
Yes.
And it's got Hoid's challenge coin face.
Right. Yes.
Yes. And on the other one, on the other sheet, and maybe there's more sheets, I haven't actually opened it.
I believe there probably are.
It says contains 100% pure nonsense.
Which is Hoid in a nutshell.
It is.
I have a feeling there are probably multiple sheets. Oh, no. Nope. Just those two.
Two of each?
Okay. So.
Yes.
But yes, it does say do not vandalize, because apparently there is a site to track where people are placing the Hoid stickers.
It'll be a hashtag.
Yeah, it'll be a hashtag.
Use a hashtag on social media.
So you are supposed to place these stickers around your local area and record where they are, and
yes,
potentially take pictures or whatnot.
That's right.
So that people can see where he's ending up.
Yeah. The first thought that would absolutely be vandalism would be to go to a music store and ask to see their flutes.
Yes.
And then plop one on the flute and then run away before the cops. No, we're not doing that. No.
I will say, yes, I know people will be probably enticed to put the stickers in unusual places, and I fully support that. However, do be aware and cognizant of where you are putting it and where, if that area is appropriate.
That's right. I need somebody who lives in Seattle to go to Pike's Place Market.
Yes.
And go to the gum wall and put one of these on the gum wall.
That's true.
And if you do that and send a photo to our email that you can find in the description.
Yes.
We will shout you out on the podcast, which is listened to right now by approximately 18 people.
Very nice.
Per episode so far. Maybe we'll send you a little something special.
I will also put this out. I have friends in Seattle.
I know you do.
If you can beat me we will give you an extra shout out.
Yes.
If you can beat my connections in Seattle.
That's right.
Which I will not contact them until this podcast is posted.
Which would be after we record it.
Right.
Because that's what we're doing now.
Yes. But I am just saying that, like, I will not take undue advantage of the small window of time before we stop recording and post the episode.
Indeed. The next thing we've got is the Hoid for President t-shirt.
Which we are both wearing currently.
Both wearing. It's very flattering. It's a nice dark blue, and it's got a picture of Hoid, reminiscent of the President Obama campaign that says hope.
Yes.
But instead of red and blue, it's more white and blue and shades of blue. And it says Hoid instead of hope, and then underneath that it says for president in case you don't get the reference.
Right.
Which some people won't.
Some people might not, especially the younger folks who were not necessarily as cognizant of Obama's pregnancy or presidency. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Presidency. All right.
Fantastic.
It has been a long day.
Yeah. Okay.
All right then.
The last thing we have before we get to the box itself is Hoid sticky notes.
Yes.
Wit sticky notes.
Yes. Specifically with quotes, I believe, from at least the top sticky note is a quote from Wit.
Yes, and it says there are still stories to tell.
Yes.
And like I was telling Griff, I believe each one of these doesn't say a different thing, but they may
cycle through a few quotes.
Yeah.
But it is not all just the same quote.
Indeed. Oh, it's 2. Dream big, idiot. That's wonderful. That's actually very inspiring.
Yes.
Because I don't dream at all. Does it? Okay, that one just says dream big, idiot. And there are still stories to tell. Okay. So
the 2 quotes.
2 quotes. Dream big, idiot, and there are still stories to tell on blue and yellow respectively. This is from, I think that's when he was sitting greeting the noble, the light eyes as they were coming into
the dinner,
King Elikar's dinner.
Yes.
And then there's just him. Yes, and his costume is very much
wit related.
Wit related and from the Stormlight Archive.
Right.
All right. And then the box itself came with a nice seal that says A Year of Sanderson with the picture of Hoid's challenge coin and then Hoid, and then it says your shirt size. And inside I thought was pleasant.
It comes on the outside. There is a very nice on the forefront Dragon Steel logo.
That's right. And then a little thing that says air on the side of awesome.
Indeed.
And then inside there's a quote from Wit. The purpose of a storyteller is not to tell you how to think, but to give you questions to think upon. And then a nice little thank you from Brandon Sanderson and Team Dragonsteel that says, I have the best fans in the world. You've proven that to me time and time again. You are awesome, you are amazing, and you have incredible taste in books. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. My supervisor was doing, who I got into the Cosmere, was doing an introduction at a training for some other workers, and she just gave a little spiel about herself, some of her likes and stuff, and she mentioned the Dresden Files.
Oh, okay.
And then one of the workers was like, what about Brandon Sanderson? And she was like, actually, I'm reading the Stormlight Archive right now.
Is that her introduction to the Cosmere?
No,
okay.
Mistborn was.
Okay, that is
because I knew that is what she would like.
Yeah, I mean, I will freely admit that I'm sure each Sanderson fan has their own specific iteration of what order the Cosmere books should be read in.
There's not that many iterations.
I mean, there's a lot of different books. I'm sure you could find one odd outlier case for each.
How many books are there?
Well, there's also the short stories.
Yes.
And I personally take short story order into account.
Right.
So
I'm just, because it would be a factorial. If we assume one would start at the beginning of the series of Mistborn Stormlight. There's Mistborn Stormlight, Warbreaker.
Hold on, I have a list here, we can count.
I was just going to come up with how many iterations there would be.
Yes. So let's see.
Splitting the series up.
2, 4, 6, 8.
Who do we appreciate? Sanderson.
12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24.
-3 for the Stormlight series. -5 really. If you start with the Way of Kings and read the books and the short stories in order.
Right.
That takes away 5.
6.
So, well, you still include the Stormlight Archive.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We're doing math here.
Gotcha.
Right. So that brings it down to 19.
Right.
Okay, and then the Mistborn, there are
3,
7.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you're taking...
With one short story, so 8.
2 short stories. There's 11th Metal, and then there's Secret History. Oh, and
3.
Allomancer. Yeah, and Allomancer Jack. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's 7 plus 3 is 10. So
-9.
Yeah, -9.
So that's 10. And then we'll say Hope of Elantris. You would read after Elantris.
Right.
So...
No, there's 2 Elantrian short stories. There's Hope of Elantris and... Well, Emperor's Soul.
Oh, Emperor's Soul. I'm actually gonna... I would split Emperor's Soul from the Elantris bit, just because you don't have to read those together.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we're at 9.
Yes.
9 factorial is something that it's the end of the day, and I'm not going to compute. Calculator. And some of you listening are like, oh, it's this number. And I'm so proud of you. 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times, 1. All right. There are only, out of that, is that right? I'm doing that right, yeah? Yeah. 362,880 different ways of reading the Cosmere.
Right. So, that being said, I will say that...
Is Tress on there?
Yeah, I've already got Tress on there. Yeah. I already put that... I actually put Tress when I was, like, maybe a third of the way through. Sure. And then I moved it based on...
Right.
Continuing information.
Which, if you haven't heard, go listen to our review of The Secret Project.
Yes, indeed. There was a few surprises, I think, for both of us in that story.
Yes.
However, I will say that most iterations that I have heard do start with Mistborn.
Yeah.
Because I believe it is a very good representation of... It's not the most polished of Sanderson's writings, but it is more polished than, say, Elantris or Warbreaker.
Yeah.
And I believe it has more action, and so once the reader already knows that they like Brandon Sanderson, then you can move them over to some of his earlier works.
Right. I agree. So I'm going to have to go talk to that person that mentioned Brandon Sanderson at some point, and that's where I'm at.
Fair.
What else have we got?
Well, do we know what next box is coming? Are we getting the Tress box?
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're sending the Hoid box, and I bet they've completed it. But their idea was that they would, if they got the Tress books in, they would stop sending Hoid, immediately send out Tress, and then finish sending Hoid. And then, so we will get Tress for February.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think that's their goal. And then I think they just moved Cytoverse back 1. So
right,
March.
So we'll be getting that in March, yeah.
So I have a month and a few days to read all of the Cytoverse books.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I might actually do that, but that's discussion for another time.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the Hoid box. It was quite an enjoyable haul.
Yep.
And I think that we will start to amass a good number of Cosmere and non-Cosmere related items as the boxes continue pouring in.
Indeed. And there should, I believe he's talked about having an option to purchase the box, like the leftovers that they have.
Oh, okay.
Or I mean, I say leftovers, but however that's going to work.
I mean, I'm assuming he'll probably... I mean, this is my guess. I don't know if he'll have the boxes to sell or just merchandise from the boxes.
It could be either.
Yeah.
Both of those were floated.
Fair.
I imagine, because they're doing Tress, you could buy the box.
Though that makes sense, considering it is just a pin, a bookmark, and then the book.
Yeah.
So,
although it may not come with the pin, and the pin may only be for those people that did
the backing,
the boxes.
That's fair.
So, yep.
But I believe that. Yeah, I believe that is the Hoid Box. I am quite pleased.
Yeah.
I am honestly, like I know that I went on about it before, but I am honestly very, very pleased with the detail on the pins. And if every pin is, and I don't see why it would not be, if every pin is of this quality, I think I am going to be very, very pleased with them.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Cool.
That said, yeah. Also, while we do have the challenge for the Seattle Pike's Place Market, if you found an interesting place to put your Hoid sticker and it was not vandalism, send it to us and
I will talk about it.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. Probably.
I would assume as much.
Why not?
Do we know what we are covering next episode?
Nope.
Okay. We will get to Elantris eventually.
Yep.
I believe that is the next one on the docket.
It's on the docket somewhere.
Yes.
Or we could theorize about Stormlight Archive 5.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Not yet. I will say...
It's never too early.
I will say it may be dependent on when the Tress box gets here, because if they are sending those as soon as possible, we may get the Tress box rather soon.
True.
Depending on when they finish printing the books and whatever delays were. They weren't specific about the delays, so I'm not entirely sure what was holding things up.
Something about a blizzard.
Oh.
And slipcases, maybe.
So, we may either cover the Tress box next, or we may cover Elantris, or something else entirely. We will figure it out, I suppose.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, until next time, don't panic, World Hoppers.
Life before Life before death, strength before weakness, and journey before vandalizing with Hoid stickers.
Yes.
Yep.
The music you hear is Part 3, The Spirit, from Zavadilla's The Music of Elantris, produced by B-Roll Records. Available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and most music providers.
If you like what you hear, and you want others to hear it as well, please leave a rate and review. It really helps us get more listeners.